Our third LEGO video is LEGO Batman 2 DC Superheroes. The reason why you're seeing 2 instead of 1 is because I don't have the first installment. I only have the second and the third one, and I will be going into the third one later on, particularly in terms of gameplay mechanic comparisons, the way I did it for like Harry Potter 1 and Harry Potter 2. I compared the improvements or steps backwards to the games. So I'm going to do that with Batman 2 and Batman 3. 2 and 3 both feature voice acting. I believe this one was the first one in the LEGO line of games to receive voice acting. And some people liked it, some people did not. I honestly was fine with it. I was fine with it. This also has a movie companion that they released, also titled DC Superheroes. And it features professional voice acting, really well done. All the featured characters in the story are really well done. And it's very satisfying to play, just like Harry Potter 1 and 2. The cast of characters that you can play as is smaller than Harry Potter 1 and 2 by a landslide. I believe it's only like 50 characters and 10 DLC characters. And I'm going to talk about the characters primarily in this video. And then we'll talk about how the characters are varied, their abilities, is it better than Harry Potter 1 and 2, all that stuff. We're going to start off with, is this better in terms of like character variety? Like how many characters, since they have a smaller roster, they had time to give each character a unique moveset or something. Is this better overall than Harry Potter 1 and 2? I would say yes. In Harry Potter 1 and 2, you had like basically over half the cast having the exact same spells, and that was not interesting. All the Dark Wizards had the exact same abilities, with the very few exceptions. In Harry Potter 2, Lucius Malfoy, for example, could summon like a peacock pet character to roam around, do puzzles and stuff. And Voldemort did not have access to the Patronus spell. So there's some minor changes there in regards to variation, but it's very little. It's very, very little. In this, it is far greater in terms of variations. Characters can do things that other characters cannot. There's abilities a lot of characters share, but they don't all share the exact same abilities. We're going to go into that. I have here a list of characters. I collected all of it. I 100%ed it, but I have here a list of all the characters that you can use. And I'm going to go in alphabetical order. So if you don't see a character on this page, they're playable. Characters such as Alfred are in the game, and since you consider him, you would honestly consider him a non-combatant. He is mostly a non-combatant. He cannot really fight. He can fight with a silver platter little thing that he's seen carrying around, but it doesn't really do much. Aquaman is not featured in the main story, but he is unlockable when you collect 75 gold bricks. There are 250 gold bricks throughout the game, and a lot of characters locked behind collecting all these gold bricks. So you would think that the higher amount of gold bricks you collect, the more interesting that character would be. And as we will go through this list, that is not the case. Aquaman, however, is a very interesting and unique character. He is capable of walking at the bottom of all waters. He has super strength, and his trident can shoot water, kind of like Aguamenti in Harry Potter 2. He has the ability to shoot water or whatever, fill up tanks and do puzzles and stuff like that. There is a very disappointing character in Bane. Bane has super strength. He's kind of like the Hagrid character in this game, because all he has going for him is super strength. He cannot do anything else. He can't like use grapples. He doesn't grow big into a big figure, use venom powers, nothing. He's just very basic, very bland, and not interesting at all. Batgirl is collected collecting a various amounts of gold bricks, and she is basically the exact same as Batman's character in his base suit form. She does the exact same things, but other than that, because she doesn't have access to any of Batman's suits, she can't really do anything or contribute much. If you only wanted to use her as an alternative to using Batman, that's the only reason you would use Batgirl. Next, we've reached Batman here. Batman, being the titular character of the title, has a bunch of things going for him. And in terms of gameplay, he has at least 4 unique outfits or suits that he can transform into, when you're exploring a level, you'll see a little Batman symbol on the floor, usually for one of 4 things: the power suit, the sensor suit, the bat suit, or the electricity suit. One of these 4 suits will transform Batman into that suit, and each suit has a certain ability that it correlates to that suit. The limiting thing is that these do not constitute as different characters. They don't constitute as different characters that you can select on the character select screen, free mode, or none of that. No. They need to be accessed with Batman onto that little costume platform to change into that costume for various obstacles and puzzles and things like that, in both the open world and in the story levels, which really limits all of the other playable characters, because the suits for Batman and Robin are primarily what you play the bulk of this game for. And I get it, Batman's the titular character, but throughout free mode you would think that other characters would have alternatives, or Batman would have access to the suits in like character select and all that stuff, but no, that's not there. We'll talk about the suits for a minute, though. The power suit can destroy silver bricks, and it has super strength. The sensor suit can turn invisible. The sensor suit is Batman's sensor suit is the only character that can go invisible to do the invisibility checks and all that stuff. So that's annoying. The electricity suit, Batman can pass through electric barriers. He can absorb and deploy electric charges to machines and operate them. Joker is also a character in this game that could do the exact same thing of absorbing electrical charges and discharging electric charges to operate machinery, but Joker cannot walk through electricity. There are 2 DLC characters that you can buy that can walk through electricity, but they cannot manipulate machinery, which is weird, but whatever. What else do we have here? Let's see. Black Canary. You can collect various amounts of gold bricks to use her. She basically operates as an alternative to Batman's Batsuit. The Batsuit can basically shatter glass to go through various types of things. So Black Canary can basically do that as an alternative to the Batsuit. But as you'll find, a far easier character to unlock, Man-Bat, can do the exact same thing Black Canary could do, but Man-Bat can fly, so you have no reason to use Black Canary at all. Brainiac. Ironically, in Batman 2, out of all the Brainiac's playable appearances, Batman 2 is the only one, apparently, where he's able to fly. He also has magnetism powers. The magnetism powers is a suit alternative to Robin. Robin has access to a magnet suit where you can walk up like metal walls and operate metallic machinery to pass through things. So Brainiac could do that as an alternative to Robin's magnet suit. Brainiac also comes with super strength. He's invulnerable to attacks, meaning he'll never die. And that's basically all he's got. Bruce Wayne comes in here. You can use his alternative. Bruce Wayne can use the Batsuit signals to transform into the various Batsuits, but in his base Bruce Wayne form, he can't really do anything. Captain Boomerang is in this game, and he can do basically absolutely nothing. Batman's Batarang, that's basically what Captain Boomerang could do, but instead of a Batarang, he uses a Boomerang, so he's useless. Catwoman is a very disappointing character in this. I thought she would be in the story. She's not in the story at all. Well, not at all, but she's a villain that you could find, but that's about it. Catwoman's normally the anti-hero type of character. She usually helps Batman as often as she steals from people. But she's a very sympathetic character and very complicated character, but they don't use any of that in this game. And I don't blame them, whatever. Catwoman basically can work as an alternative sometimes to Robin's acrobatic suit. Robin's acrobatic suit gives him a double jump, gives him access to swinging on poles, climbing up poles, and all sorts of other stuff like that. So Catwoman can do all of that, but Catwoman doesn't come equipped with Robin's baton that he can throw into various things, and Robin can also transform into a little ball to operate the ball, things that I have a big gripe with Robin's acrobatic suit. The acrobatic suit is basically the most useful suit in the entire game, meaning you will be using Robin's acrobatic suit for a great large portion when you're trying to 100% this game. There are so many gold bricks that require Robin's acrobatic suit that I'm not even kidding. It makes so many of these other alternative characters that could use useless because you have to use Robin's acrobatic suit to get all of these gold bricks, and it's really disappointing. I really don't like that. They really should have made at least one other character capable of turning into a little ball or something, you know? There's also Clark Kent, Superman's alter ego, which is playable. And Clark Kent has access to basically all of the abilities that Superman can do, except for flight. Clark Kent can't fly. Superman can. So that's basically it for him. These abilities, though, Superman's abilities, include ice breath. He can freeze things with his breath, and he can freeze water, so you can climb up the water and all that stuff. He can use heat vision to basically whatever, burn things, whatever. He can see through with the X-rays vision, kind of like Batman's sensor suit. I talked about the sensor suit for having invisibility. It also has the ability to see through things, X-ray vision. Superman has that by himself. Next, we have a very useless character called Clayface. Clayface is one of Batman's recurring villains, and he has absolutely nothing going for him outside of super strength. He's basically like Bane. There is nothing going for him. He can't turn into a big fig. He can't use very unique abilities. Nothing. So he's basically useless. Another equally useless character is Commissioner Gordon. Gordon has absolutely nothing going for him. He can't jump, he can't fly, he can't do any of that stuff. He's basically useless. A useful character here, however, is Cyborg. Cyborg has access to laser vision, and he can also use magnetism, and he's also super strong. So he can be used as an alternative to Superman sometimes, and he can also be used as an alternative to Robin's magnet suit. So that's pretty cool to have some little variations about going about. What else do we have? We have General Zod. General Zod is playable in Batman 3 as well, but he has a DLC from the Man of Steel movie version. This General Zod, I believe, is based off his movie, the Donner movie version. I'm guessing. I don't think so, but basically, Zod is a Superman clone, and you can get him pretty early. Zod can do everything Superman can do, but the only thing that's different is Superman, when he flies, the Superman theme from the Richard Donner movies plays. And for all the characters that can fly, it will only play for Superman. Superman's the only character that gets a unique theme for when he flies around. That's very, very fun. I really like that theme. It's one of the greatest soundtrack themes for any character ever created. And so that's why I use Superman over every other character who could fly, which is very disappointing. I wish there was more variety to the OST, to the soundtrack for all these characters. A lot of characters that have good, interesting themes throughout TV shows, such as the Batman animated series, the Justice League animated series, the Superman animated series. Warner Brothers has access to all of those TV shows, man. And you can rip the OSTs from those shows, and you can use them in here, just like this uses the music from the Batman movies from Tim Burton. It uses the music from the Superman movies. You could use more soundtracks. Give Green Lantern a theme. Give Hawkgirl a theme. It's just... Hawkgirl and Hawkman, I'll get to them in a minute, but they're very underutilized in this entire series. What else? Who else is here? Green Lantern is very disappointing in this game. He can basically construct green Lego objects that are floating around on the ground. Basically, that's the only thing they can do. He can fly, and he can use his ring to manipulate Lego objects on the ground to build something. That's basically it. He doesn't have, like, a Green Lantern beam. He can't, like, make little Green Lantern constructs to fight with. He's very, very bland. He can fly, and he can do little green constructs. Harley Quinn is slightly more useful than Catwoman. Catwoman can do everything that Harley Quinn can do, but Harley Quinn can do one extra thing. She comes equipped with a hammer, and she can throw that hammer like Robin throws his baton into various sockets to use as a pole to jump up and do some platforming with. So Harley Quinn can use more things than Catwoman could do, which is very disappointing. Now, speaking about the Itches, we finally made it to Hawkgirl and Hawkman. They are completely useless in this game. They can fly and they can swing their mace. That's it. That is all they can do. There's nothing interesting about these characters. There's no story surrounding these characters. They contribute nothing to this, okay? You unlock Superman when you play through the main story, which means everything he could do everything that Hawkgirl and Hawkman could do, yet he also has laser vision, X-ray vision, heat breath, ice breath. He could do so much. He's the Man of Steel man. But Hawkgirl and Hawkman, they can do nothing but fly and hit things with their maces. They are completely useless and pathetic, and I am very disappointed in that. I really wish that they had something that only they could do, you know? Huntress is another character that I'm very disappointed with. She comes equipped with a crossbow, kind of like Hagrid's crossbow in Harry Potter 1 and 2. That's basically all it is. Huntress, the only thing the Huntress could do is hit things with a crossbow. They're not even explosive crossbow bows. She can just hit things with a crossbow. And that's it. She can do nothing else. She can't double jump, she can't grapple things, she can't glide with her cape. She can't do nothing. She just hits things with a crossbow. She's very useless. And it's very disappointing. Speaking of disappointment, we have Hush. Hush comes equipped with 2 guns, and he just pews, and that's all he can do. He can't use stealth, sneaky stuff. He doesn't come equipped with bombs to blow up silver, bricks, or nothing. No, he just shoots people with two guns, and that's all he can do. That's all he can do, and it's very disappointing because Hush is a very interesting character with a very broad moveset, and they don't give him anything. And I also mentioned how there's a lot of filler characters. This one has a couple filler characters. There's the Clown Goon, the Mine Goon, the Lexbot Goon, and the Riddler Goon. There are Goon characters, and the Policeman Goon. There's 5 Goon-type characters that basically can just punch things to do absolutely nothing else. The Lexbot does come equipped with dual guns, but since Hush can do that, you have no reason to use the Lexbot, so all the Goons are useless, man. They're useless. They're filler characters that you could have basically removed from the game. There's a red brick called Extra Toggle. You can collect the Extra Toggle brick to basically access characters like these Goons during your free play mode, because they're basically extra little characters that you can access because their models exist in the game, so you can use them using the Extra Toggle. And I would argue that you should have taken those 5 characters and put them in Extra Toggle, meaning you have 5 slots to put characters like Black Adam, Nightwing, Shazam, Black Manta, and maybe some other villain or something. One of the 5 of the DLC characters you could have put in here instead of making him DLC. Nightwing was a main character that wasn't DLC in the first Batman game. I don't know why he's DLC in this game. It doesn't make sense at all. It's very disappointing. Then we have Killer Croc. Killer Croc can do absolutely everything that Aquaman could do, minus spraying water at things to manipulate water puzzles. So basically, Killer Croc is useless. If you have Aquaman, you have no reason to use Killer Croc. What else? Killer Moth. Killer Moth is completely useless. Killer Moth can fly and shoot things with a blaster. He is basically effectively useless, just like Hawkgirl and Hawkman. Lex Luthor can use the Deconstructor. While that's the only thing that Lex Luthor can use, the Deconstructor is a very useful tool, and is the focus point of this entire story and the movie. The Deconstructor can basically deconstruct objects. So throughout every free play level, there's at least one Deconstructor object that you need Lex to deconstruct to pass through it for some extra stuff. So Lex Luthor is incredibly useful, and he's the only one who can use the Deconstructor, so very good on them for making a unique character that only this character could do something with. There's Lois Lane in this. She's useless. She could do nothing. Mad Hatter, he's useless. He comes with nothing. He can't do anything. I don't know why they added him if he can't really do anything unique. I believe in the 3DS version of this game, they gave him the Hypno Trick ability, which allows him to do something. I don't know. I don't have the 3DS version. I have the PS3 version, as you can see. And he's nothing in this version. He's very disappointing. Speaking of disappointing, you need 175 gold bricks collected throughout the entire game to unlock Martian Manhunter, which leaves you with only 75 more gold bricks left to collect until you complete the game. Martian Manhunter is basically a Superman clone, but Superman can do more things than Martian Manhunter can do. Martian Manhunter can fly. He can use heat vision. He has super strength. He has invulnerability, and he can build things very fast. All 5 things Superman can do, plus he has ice breath. So he's effectively useless. If you already have Superman, which you would by the time you collect Martian Manhunter, you have no reason to use Martian Manhunter, which is very disappointing. I would have wished that you might have given Martian Manhunter maybe the invisibility ability. Basically, for example, the 4 button mappings. The X button is usually used for jumping. The square button is usually used for melee, but if you hold down on square button, sometimes for characters such as Superman, he will use his heat vision when you hold down on the square button. Batman gets prepared to throw his batarang when you hold down the square button. Characters have various abilities tied to each button mapping. Martian Manhunter's heat vision is tied to the square button, but there's nothing tied to the circle button. For the Batman sensor suit that can turn invisible, when you hold down the circle button, he will turn invisible. I would argue that since a Martian Manhunter can turn invisible, I would argue that you should tie invisibility to that circle button and let him press circle and you'll turn invisible. Let him work as the invisibility override. Something you have to do a lot of stuff to unlock, but now he's the one who can turn invisible, and you don't need to use Batman's sensor suit. You don't have to go find that sensor suit icon on the map anymore. You can just switch to Martian Manhunter and turn invisible, you know? That'd be useful, but they don't give him that. And they don't give him that in frickin' Batman 3 either, as far as I know. Mr. Freeze is an alternative to Robin's ice suit. Mr. Freeze comes equipped with an ice gun. He can shoot ice blocks and he can freeze things. So basically, he is an alternative to Robin's ice suit. That's all he can do. Poison Ivy is very interesting and very useful in this game because she is the only one who can travel through flower beds, plants, and stuff. She can use those as teleportation devices to access hidden areas that only she can do. So, Poison Ivy, success character. She's got a unique ability that only she can do. Ra's al Ghul, he's very disappointing in this game. I might actually finally understand why they didn't put him in the next game, because he's got nothing going for him. He's got a sword, he can slash things, and that's all he's got. Now, their wiki says he's had access to a shuriken, which he doesn't in the game, and he's got access to stealth, which he doesn't in the game. So I'm guessing these are DS only abilities. He doesn't have these abilities in the PS3 version, which sucks. He's very useless, very disappointing. What else do we got here? I talked about Robin a lot. I talked about his acrobat suit. I didn't talk about his hazard suit. The hazard suit is also one of the most important suits in the game because there's so many gold bricks locked behind hazard suit obstacles. The hazard suit can suck up purple poison, green poison, and yellow poison to spray it back out alongside water. But Aquaman can spray water, so you don't need that. But so he can manipulate 3 poisons that you can find throughout the level. He can clean them up, all that stuff. So he's very useful with his hazard suit. He can also walk through poison stuff. What else? Who else is in this? Sinestro is in this. Sinestro is a villain in the Green Lantern series. And he is very disappointing, just like Green Lantern. But somehow, Sinestro manages to be even less useful than Green Lantern. The Green Lantern was already pretty useless to begin with. Sinestro can fly. That's basically all he can do. He cannot manipulate the Green Lantern objects that Green Lantern can manipulate. Sinestro is just able to fly. That's all he can do. He's useless. He has nothing to contribute to this game. He's disappointing as all get out. Supergirl. Let's talk about Supergirl. Oh my goodness. She's a Superman clone. She can do absolutely everything Superman could do, just like General Zod. But you can unlock General Zod, like, really early. You can unlock him, like, as soon as you can visit Gotham and use Superman to find Zod. Because Zod's on a building top, and Superman can fly onto the building top to challenge Zod. So, you can get Zod really early. But Supergirl? You have to 100% this game to unlock Supergirl. And the moment you unlock Supergirl, she's basically a Superman clone, so she contributes nothing. She has nothing to offer to this game other than a completion mark on your freaking file. It's very disappointing, man, and I was very, very frustrated with this, unlocking this character. She's basically like the Voldemort of Harry Potter 1. Voldemort of Harry Potter 1, you had to basically complete the game to unlock him, but Voldemort has nothing unique to offer to the table that the other Dark Wizards can't already do that you could unlock a lot earlier. I wished that maybe you could have given Supergirl something that only she can do, and have some, like, secret level, the secret level locked behind a 100% game file that you can access as a bonus level that has obstacles that only Supergirl could pass. That could be cool. That could be useful. But no. She can't do anything. It's disappointing as heck. What else? Let's see. The Flash is in this. I like him. The Flash is is very useful in this game. His speed is he's the fastest in this game that he has ever been. He will never be as fast in Batman 3 or DC supervillains as he is in this game. Because apparently, from what I've looked up, the Flash's speed is faster than friggin' vehicles in this game, which is pretty much true. In reality, the Flash is like the fastest thing alive. But, you know, in Batman 3, which I'm going through now, the Flash is not as fast, which is disappointing. But here's how to think about it. The Flash has two speeds. When you're exploring Gotham City, the Flash's speed is insane. When you are in the story missions in free play mode, when you're using the Flash, his speed is like a tenth of his actual max speed, because the levels are a lot smaller. They're not as big as Gotham City open world. And that's probably why he's not as fast in Batman 3 or DC Batman 3. There's no reason why he can't be that fast in DC supervillains, but he is not that fast in Batman 3 because you don't have Gotham City, big hub world to explore. Now that's my explanation. So he's got super speed, he can run really fast. He also has the ability to reconstruct deconstructed objects. So let's say Lex Luthor deconstructs something. The Flash is the only character that can reconstruct what Lex Luthor's deconstructor has deconstructed. Get it? Good. I've talked about the Joker. The Penguin is surprisingly one of the most useful characters that you could unlock. The Penguin works as a power suit override for Batman. Batman's power suit can destroy silver bricks. It's the only thing that can do it until you unlock the Penguin. The Penguin has penguin bombs that can also break silver bricks. So the Penguin is very useful when you unlock him and you don't feel like looking for a power suit with Batman to manipulate a puzzle or whatever. You're gonna swap to the Penguin in free play mode and blow up the silver block right away. So that's very useful. Another very useful character that I was surprised about is the Riddler. The Riddler has access to Riddler boxes that are thrown throughout the story levels in Gotham City that only the Riddler can activate. The Joker also has Joker boxes throughout the levels that only the Joker can activate. So again, two characters with an ability that only they can do. That's good. I like that. Keep it up. The Scarecrow. He can do nothing in this game. He's nothing. You would think that story-wise, the Joker has the ability of throwing fear toxin to cause panic and stun people, right? So maybe he would have like a fear bomb something or whatever, right? No, he doesn't have that. In the DS version, he does. Not in the PS3 version. He's useless. He can't do anything. He is about as useful as Commissioner Gordon in this game. He's nothing. He's garbage. Two-Face, also garbage. He has dual pistols, and he can do everything that Hush can do, but Hush has a little bit more that he can do than Two-Face, so Two-Face is useless. Vicky Vale's in this game, she's useless. Wonder Woman's in this game. She can fly, and she can use her Wonder Woman tiara, whatever, as a makeshift batarang, and she has a lasso that can work as a grapple. So she's basically like Batman if he could fly. So that's pretty cool. That's all, really. There's 10 DLC characters that I'm not going to really talk about in detail. There's Shazam, going to walk through electricity, Nightwing, who was playable in base game in Batman 1 and Batman 3. I don't know why he's DLC in Batman 2. It makes no sense. And there's a lot of other characters that are available on the DS version, such as, say, where is it? The Joker's tropical outfit. That's Talia al Ghul. She's also in the DS version. Superboy's in the DS version. There's a lot of DS exclusive characters like Deathstroke and Deadshot. They're in the DS version. Then they're not in the PS3 version, which makes no sense. I don't know how the DS version has a lot more content, but the DS version also doesn't have access to Robin's acrobatic suit, so there's some things that are different. So it's kind of like that. I kind of like one of those licensing thingies, I guess. Whatever. So I took 30 minutes to talk about the entire cast. That's basically all the characters and I've told you what each one could do. There's about maybe 10 that have an ability that only those characters can do. Most of the suits have suit override characters that can activate. For example, Robin's freeze suit. Mr. Freeze can do that. You can just swap to Mr. Freeze instead of finding a freeze suit icon. Instead of finding the magnet suit, you can use Cyborg or Brainiac. Instead of using Batman's power suit, you can use the Penguin. Instead of using Batman's bat suit, you could use Man-Bat or Black Canary. Instead of using his electricity suit for some things, you can use the Joker. But some things, like passing through electric fields, only Batman's electricity suit can do. You'd think that characters such as Superman could go through it, but no, apparently not. But it's very, very good. It's a good step in a very good direction, especially compared to how limited the first one was. There's a lot more you could do. You could do things a lot better. And since I just played the first level in Batman 3 the other night, I think that they are going in a very good direction. They're taking this in a very good direction in terms of variety and variability. But this has only 50 playable characters, and I noticed about 10 to 20 useless characters that I really wish that they had an interesting ability. But I noticed that compared to the console and the handheld version, a lot of those useless characters, such as the Scarecrow, have unique abilities in the DS version. I would hope that in Batman 3, those useless characters might have access to those unique abilities, such as Bane giving him a big fake Venom power suit, and things of that nature. It's a good step in the right direction. It's very satisfying to play. There's only a few aggravating points, such as Supergirl and Martian Manhunter, that were very disappointing to unlock because they offered nothing unique. And I was hoping that they would be unique, because you have to do a lot to unlock those two characters, and they just don't have enough going for them to make it worth unlocking. Huntress was also very useless. Hawkgirl and Hawkman are basically two of the same character that can't do anything. I would like to have each two of them have an ability that only they could do to differentiate the characters from the other characters. But I like that they're mixing and matching things up. Not everybody can do the exact same thing. For example, Cyborg can't fly, so that's cool. Cyborg has heat vision, but he can't fly. Brainiac doesn't have heat vision, but he can fly. So there's a lot of things in here that have good steps and good directions. But there's a lot of things, like Sinestro not being able to have his own Green Lantern abilities, or Yellow Lantern abilities, whatever. There's a lot of characters that could do something that they don't give that character an ability, and you could give them something to do. I'm going to stop this at around 35 minutes, or 34 minutes, whatever. Good game, very good, very good. It could just be better. It could be more imaginative.